Hey, as long as you're driving an electric car, we'll be the bestest of friends forever. One good one and one bad one. Oh, I've canceled my reservation because I can use $100. Tesla worked through their queue quite fast. Why don't you understand buying a Cybertruck? Well, basically stopped accepting customers with Cybertrucks. You should cut that range by about half. Welcome to E4 Electric live stream, live from Bangkok. And today we're going to talk about some Cybertruck news that we have. Well, we all have one good one and one bad one. I don't know which one you guys want me to start with, but I think I'm going to start with a good one because it's been reported this week by multiple outlets that if you want a Cybertruck for whatever reason, I don't personally get it, but you don't have to be a part of the reservation queue, the 2 million reservation queue. You can just basically go ahead and configure it and get it relatively quickly from what I'm gathering. I'm sure there will be some inventory, but at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about any of that, which has been a problem, especially in the beginning for some people, because they wanted the Cybertruck, but they're like, oh my god, because some people weren't really that aware that there was an actual 2 million person long queue. I was one of them, but as you know, I've canceled my reservation because I can use $100 myself. I'm not gonna lie. So, and I now you're probably asking, Alex, why is this good news when Tesla? This is really bad for Tesla. Because they have a 2 million reservation queue, and now after selling 45,000, it's already empty. Well, first, it's because I only care about Tesla consumers, Tesla drivers, Tesla owners, and not about Tesla, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, or Elon Musk, who's a multi-billionaire. I care only about people who buy the product. Again, I don't really understand why would people buy a Cybertruck, but if you do, I'm on your side, and this is good news. Now, by the way, for those people who say, "Well, how is this possible?" I mean, there's 2 million people. Everybody put in some money, right? There's some interest, and how is it? Tesla is now like 98% of people in that queue decided not to go with it. Well, if you tracked the previous reservation lists that Tesla had for the Model 3, Model Y, you would see that the conversion rate was quite low to start with. I think it was like 20 or 30%. But the Cybertruck, don't forget, first, it took the longest to come to the market, 4 years. Secondly, the price has gone up more than other models, from the unveiling to the actual sale, and the specs were also less on top of being a higher price. And so there is really no surprise that a lot of people who, and from what I understand, there was at least half of the reservations were for the $40,000 model, including myself. Those people say, well, it's double of that. I've already might have moved on from this. So it is what it is. So this is not really that surprising. However, we were here before where people say, well, Tesla worked through their queue quite fast. So the sales are going to really drop now that we realize there's not that many people from the original reservation queue that were interested. Well, actually, what happened, all kinds of new people jumped in and started buying the Model 3, Model Y. I mean, Model Y is the best-selling, I believe, car in the world still, definitely in America. So this is something that can happen with a Cybertruck, where people who, see Cybertrucks on the streets, not here in Bangkok, but on the streets of America, decide that, oh, I want one. And these are the people who were not in a reservation queue, or even knew there was one, and they want to jump in and buy one. I mean, my prediction is that it's probably not going to happen in such numbers, but like with everything, we're just going to have to wait and see. All right. So, question from the audience: why don't you understand buying a Cybertruck? Well, because I don't. So it cannot really be used as a truck, right? Or at least let me put it this way: it can be, but there are better alternatives, right? If you want a real all-electric pickup truck, Silverado EV is probably your best choice. Um, Even if you want to just ride in a big car, sit very high, I would still go with a Hummer EV, just in terms of what it offers compared to what the Cybertruck offers. And by the way, right now the Cybertruck doesn't even offer FSD to most of its drivers. Not that I think that's a big perk. So I don't really understand why you would spend $80,000 or $100,000 on something that's not really truck. It is, you're probably going to spend even more money, especially over the first 2 years. The insurance companies will definitely raise the price as they see how expensive it is to repair, how long it takes to repair. That song is not new, but I think I believe there are already insurance companies, whether it's Geico and I forget whether it's Liberty, but that's just basically stopped accepting customers with Cybertrucks. So you might actually have problems in insuring one. And I just don't understand the appeal. I just, you all have to get it in the same color. Uh, I know some people think it looks good, but I don't. So I don't really get it. So I just, the features inside compared to what other trucks have to offer, whether it's infotainment, which I think Hummer EV is better. As a matter of fact, Hummer EV's infotainment has been designed by one of the best gaming companies, or the actual truck specs that Silverado EV easily beats the Cybertruck. So that's why I don't really understand this. All right. So, listen, I'll get to some of the comments here, but at the end of the day, I just don't think as a consumer who wants a pickup truck, an electric pickup truck, this is just the best choice. I don't get it. Because I shouldn't even say that. I'm going to take a drive because it could be best choice for you, but I don't really understand it. Totally respect it. Totally understand it. Hey, as long as you're driving an electric car, we'll be the bestest of friends forever. Okay, I just don't understand your choice. That's perfect. I also don't understand people who buy the Smart for two. We don't always have to like the same things. All right, now let's get to another news, which is not so good. Kind of bad, actually. So, as you know, the Cybertruck originally was advertised with 500 miles plus. It actually ends up being a little over 300. And what Tesla has announced that if you want, you can have a range extender that will extend it all the way to about 470 miles. I'm not really big on these numbers because they don't mean anything, which is one of the news. Is apparently Tesla said, well, that's not even going to be that. They're actually going to shave, I think, 25 miles off of that. So your range extender, well, they shaved off the range by 25 miles, but they're going to keep the price at 16,000. And also what they did was, because it was supposed to be available in the next several months, essentially. But what they did, they basically said they're going to push it by, I believe, another half a year. Again, I wasn't really getting into these numbers as much because they just don't mean anything. With Tesla, Elon Musk, Tesla, whatever, they can say whatever they want at the end of the day until it exists. These numbers don't mean anything at all. But what we do know is that the range extender is going to not extend by as much, and it is going to, though it's going to cost the same, and it's going to not be available until, I believe, closer to the next summer. Now, I think most people who buy the Cybertruck don't really care of having an actual pickup truck. I think it's a thing for them. I think those first 40 or 50,000 50,000 that were sold. I think people who bought them bought it because it's a Tesla, because it's unique, because they want to show off, because it's, for all the reasons that none of them are actually have anything to do with it being a pickup truck. So I think for those people, the range of 300 plus miles should be just fine. I mean, I always said that honestly, any range over 200 miles should be okay for like 90% of most people with their regular commutes. But having over 300 miles of range, honestly, now, if you are going to use any electric pickup truck as a pickup truck, and do things like haul and carry an actual load, you should really cut that range, or go off-roading. You should cut that range by about half. So whatever EPA range is, half is what you probably will get if you're going to be doing the truck things. And then all of a sudden the 300 and what 20 or 30 mile range becomes 160, 170 mile range. And then now, all of a sudden you start questioning, okay, well, do I go on a road trip on this? Are there plenty of chargers or not? Charging is not that easy when you have an actual trailer, depending on different locations. So it's becoming a problem. So range extender, as maybe unnecessary to a lot of at least current owners, might be more necessary or desired by the future owners, because at this point, I think people who will start buying the Cybertruck will not be as huge Tesla fans as the first 30, 40, 50,000. And they might actually want to use the truck for those things, and therefore need the range extender. So they're going to have to wait, and the range is not going to be as long. Now, by the way, the biggest problem with the range extender is that it's not like Tesla would put a few extra battery modules into their into their battery. The battery is part of the structure. They actually, what the range extender is, Tesla will package these batteries and install it in the bed. Now, the bed is not the biggest bed of truck bed that's out there, and this is going to take 1/3 of the area of the bed. So again, if you're going to be using it as a truck, that's a problem. If you don't care and you're just going to put a few things on the back of your truck, and this is really not going to make that much of a difference, that may not be as big of a problem. So those are the two news that I would say, I wouldn't say unexpected, but definitely, they're not fancy news. They're the news for real consumers. So that's that.